What's up, Pumpkin?
They killed my cooter.
Oh, he died a hero.
Gonna do real bad things with you.
Hello, everybody. I'm Will.
And I'm Kristen.
And this is So I'm Watching True Blood, Season 3, Episode 8.
Night on the Sun.
I would say this was a bit of a mixed bag.
Yeah.
This season was weird, interesting, fun. The things that I'm complaining about, like the things that I don't like about the season, actually make a lot of sense. Like they suit the theme, the Southern Gothic, but it just is, I don't know.
I guess Tommy and Melinda, we don't see Jolie in this episode.
Mercifully.
But yeah, so Melinda comes to get the rest of her stuff, and she is a pretty dog, too. Oh my goodness.
Get in here before someone sees you.
And, yeah. So she
Both her and the dog at the door.
So she comes to get the rest of her stuff, shakes Sam down for a little bit more money, and is like, take care of Tommy. And then Tommy spends the rest of the episode trying to get in fights with patrons at Merlotte's.
We've talked about it a little bit, and I'm going to repeat myself in that case, but I honestly get Tommy's plight.
Mm-hmm.
And I said before that I was like, I just don't think that this is the show to do it. And part of me is like, well, then what is? Like a true crime or like a procedural or something?
Yeah.
It's the only family he's known. They're
Or
relatively
maybe like
off.
a straight up drama. Because this is like a soapy melodrama.
That's gotta be it.
Yeah, and so it's like, kind of this whole thing.
Because I don't think Marshall's doing anything wrong.
No. But it's like this whole thing of like, I want to be better, but I can't fight my nature. Also my nurture, and like it's like too deep and heavy.
And they're the only family, and I think that part, and again, because I forget her name every time. Yeah. Her and Tommy, her and Marshall, I think it works the best when it's the two of them.
Yeah.
Like in that scene, because Sam is dismissing her. He's like, get.
Yeah.
Go on, get. And Tommy's really conflicted about it. And she does, so you can tell like their codependency is there.
Yeah.
And like I said, I mean, it's the only family he knows. They're off the grid type of people. So he probably didn't have peers.
Yeah.
And what he did, it was dog fighting, you know, like it was.
Well, yeah, and Sam makes that comment about like maybe he can go to college. And I was like, he is lucky if he's got 8th grade.
Yeah.
Like if Jolie let him get to 8th grade.
And so it's like on one hand, like I feel cruel, like I feel bad dismissing and hating Tommy, but also he's got a bad attitude. And I don't want to watch it. Like I don't. And again, as the D plot in a supernatural soap opera.
And that's the other thing too, where it's like we are already quite endeared to Hoyt and what's his name, Jim Perrick. So it's like when he asks if Jessica is there, and Tommy immediately, all 5'7" of him, tries to swagger up to Jim Perrick.
Is Jessica heavy working tonight? Give it a rest, man. She's way out of your league. Who the hell
He is 2 feet taller than you.
Tell me a lot. So you listen to me when I tell you, Jessica's done with you.
You want to pick a fight? You might want to do it with somebody your own size, little
You
buddy.
want to take this shit outside?
Yes.
Hey, nobody's taking nothing nowhere.
I don't know.
And be like,
I believe
Jessica's
he would.
done with you.
I
And
believe
it's
he would put up a fight.
I believe he would put up a fight, but it's just like,
I think he would kick Hoyt's ass, but but you're right.
I don't know. I feel like Hoyt would do this to his forehead.
No,
He's got no reach.
He would go for the nuts. I don't know.
Sure.
It's just frustrating to watch, and
Jim
especially
Perrick is 6'4". I'm just saying.
And especially because the way it's being presented to us as the audience is it's meant to be a redemption. It's meant to be giving him a second chance. Sam is setting him up, and and I also feel weird because Sam is better when he has something to do.
Sure.
That's not harassing Sookie. You know, so it's like on one hand, I like that Sam is
he's
putting...
over that now.
Sure,
Yeah.
but I just had forgotten how milady he was until we did our rewatch a year ago.
Yeah. Hello, milady.
And so it's like, I like watching Sam try to make things better, But it's just frustrating watching Tommy self-destruct.
Yeah. He's 5'5", by the way.
Self-sabotage. Yeah.
So it's just like, it's, to me, I mean, obviously, yes, he is a dog fighter. He, like, has fought as a dog. I know he would kick Hoyt's ass. But the point is, if he didn't have that, he is 1 foot shorter than Hoyt. And it just, like, I don't know. And the whole, like, she's done with you, and, like, I'm gonna kick your ass, and it's just like, why? Why are we doing this?
Jason
I was gonna say, let's do that next.
is continuing down this path.
They've had sex now.
She shows up.
Yeah.
God, the siren thing honestly was working a little bit for me. Like, I remember, I had the memory of not liking the hotshot plot. But her, like, in the woods, kind of like a ghost, and even they're, like, making out in the grass, like, that stuff was working. But when she shows up at his house soaking wet, I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
Gotta go. Got to go. And it's just, because again, maybe we're rescuing too many people this season. Is that the problem? And again, they're framing it, and she's framing it this way, but it's like she's a victim, or like she's trapped and wants to get out. But it's like, no, you don't. You're trying to, I said siren, you're trying to pull him into this.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch it. Gross.
Yeah, it's not great. I think part of the problem is, like, okay, so, like, season 1 is a very specific thing. It is sort of, trashy is not the right word, because it's just very, like...
I mean, it is.
No, but I'm talking specifically about, like, the environments. It's very modest. Like, Sookie and Gran's house is big, but it's not, like, fancy. And Bill's house is big, but it's not fancy. And Fantasia is cool, but it's tacky. But then it's, like, in season 2, we get introduced to, like, Dallas, and it gets a little classier.
Chic.
Like, it goes up a notch. And this one, we've got Russell, so it's, like, up a notch. But it's, like, as we're going up a couple notches, we are down in the dirt.
We are descending
into
the underworld.
Dog fighting and the meth and the incest and, you know, all of that stuff. So it's like, we are reaching new heights, but, like, instead of just actually only going to the new heights, we're also, like, so the show's like a war with itself in regards to tone and, like, feeling. I think that's the biggest problem.
I feel bad dismissing them and their plots.
Yeah, but it's
so
like
casually.
But if I'm remembering correctly, none of it really comes to much of anything. Like, there are consequences, but when they're done, they're just gone and we never hear from them again. And that's sort of like, ugh. You know? Like, what's the point of that?
I don't know. So Jason goes to Hot Shot and finds a naked woman eating a deer. And
was it a woman? I thought it was a boy.
It said woman.
Oh, did it? Okay.
The caption, I think. It's all a naked, non-binary, they, them, eating a deer. Then her father shows up and he threatens him with a gun. And what did the father say? Didn't he? What?
I'm a cop. So you gonna leave Crystal the fuck alone? Or me and the whole sheriff's department gonna come after you and your hillbilly freak show. You feel me? Oh yeah, I feel you, boy.
I feel you. Yeah, because he was like, do this or else, you feel me? And he was like, yeah, I feel you. But I think it's because he can literally feel Jason. Supernaturally.
Okay. Lafayette's mother, Alfred Woodard, but
Ruby
it's
Jean.
Ruby Jean. Ruby Jean escapes. Well, it's actually kind of funny because we've been calling him Jesus. I thought they called him Jesus on the show.
I thought so too.
Someone called him Jesus other than Ruby Jean. But they are calling him Jesus at this point. Yeah. I cannot remember if it becomes a plot, so I don't know if we're supposed to be calling him Jesus or Jesus.
I'll switch to Jesus for now.
Okay.
And if he goes to Jesus, then I'll switch back.
But
I'm not trying to be disrespectful. We both were like,
I have a memory of calling him Jesus. I have a
full memory of calling Kevin Alejandro Jesus the whole time, so...
So he does show up and confesses that they had a new nurse who left Ruby alone in the garden and she got away.
Just skedaddled, apparently.
Like Hanna-Barbera.
Yeah.
And she's there trying to protect Lafayette from...
the vampires The werewolves.
The witches.
The witches.
And the cats and dogs.
And the cats and dogs. That's right.
And Krista was kind of like...
She's not wrong.
That's what it's known as a baker's dozen in the Bayou.
Should just go on a real quick rant. That is one of my very favorite jokes from Happy Endings.
How many V-neck t-shirts have you worn this weekend?
I don't know. It's a baker's dozen.
11. 13, huh?
I think my baker's ripping me off.
It kills me. It's so funny.
Oh, boy. And so they bring her into the house. Jesus shows up.
Yeah. They
have a conversation as to whether or not Lafayette is powerful or not. And he basically, Jesus says that Ruby is schizophrenic.
But she's not unobservant.
Yeah. And he's like, you can be two things.
And then he also makes mention of like that the drug dealing specifically is not good for a person like Lafayette.
You have to use your powers for good.
Yeah, and he's like, the darkness, it can turn dark if you let it or whatever. And so, like, he's listening.
And Lafayette did sort of, without specifics, confess that he's stuck.
Yeah,
feeling.
he's like, I don't want to. I've been trying to get out, but it's hard.
He has to. So it ended on a good note for them.
Tara and Sookie had, like, kind of a heart-to-heart out in the sunshine.
I used to do this all the time.
So the whole world faded away.
You gonna go back to Bill again?
I knew he was dangerous. That's part of what I fell in love with.
Bill gave you his blood before your first date.
He saved my life.
We both know what drinking their blood does to you.
It might be over between me and Bill, but what we had was real.
You know what you sound like? One of those sad country songs about dumb bitches who let their men cheat and beat on them all for the sake of true love.
I mean...
Let me tell you something. At the end of those songs, the dumb bitches always end up dead.
Did you just call me a dumb bitch?
I'm sorry, but if you go back to that vampire, that's what you are.
I know what it's like to be afraid of my own body. I've killed. Me and Bill, we ain't so different.
Yes, you are. I saw the look in his eye. Same as Franklin's. Cold and crazy.
Yeah, see, it's just like too much
like
conflating.
A rattlesnake.
I don't want to fight with you. You've been through a lot. I can see you're in pain. Let's talk about it.
I can't.
Okay, here's the thing. Tara has been through a trauma. She was never fully sold on Bill anyway. I totally get it. But this again goes to the like writing, in my opinion. The writing of the character of Tara. Because she is supposed to be Sookie's best friend. And I'm aware she can have her own agency outside of that. But for her to just be like, kind of egging Jason on to like go kill him and stuff too. It's like she's very like, if you get back together with Bill, you're as dumb as those girls in the movies who like just like he's an abusive boyfriend. And meanwhile, like,
is it not true though?
Okay,
we got caught in these weeds in season 1 or 2 where I was like, the central thesis of the show is broken. Like it fundamentally doesn't work.
Okay, why?
Because they keep trying to explain that the prejudice against the vampires is unfair, and they keep trying to make these allusions to others.
But like they are apex predators, so it doesn't work.
The vampires themselves, most of which do want some form of domination.
Yeah.
And so when we have these moments with, and it's something Lois Smith was very good at, there was a poignancy anytime that Gran and Sookie would talk about it, but the scene with Tara and Sookie, there's a part of me where I'm like, I think both of them make valid cases.
Sure. Well, the thing that I was going to say is because Tara is specifically working off of this event.
Mm-hmm.
This event right now that happened, which is that Bill almost killed her. But in this, yes.
But can't you one for one that with a relationship? Like the circumstances of the relationship caused something violent to happen?
No. Because at this point, they were not in a relationship. Okay. I have a lot to say. On the whole, Bill and Sookie's relationship is toxic. On the whole.
Uh-huh.
The problem with the writing of Tara, especially in this episode, is it's not taking into account the whole of the relationship. It is predicated on this one instance where Bill had zero control over his behavior. It's not like I hit you, but I'm sorry, but I'll never do it again.
I get that, but everything she says is true, that she had tasted his blood the night that they met.
Yeah, but Sookie's right. He saved her life.
I know, but her feelings can be influenced that way. And
no, because the glamoring doesn't work on her, so I don't think that kind of stuff works on her. Like, it makes her have the dreams or whatever, but it doesn't manufacture feelings. Because Tara had a dream about Franklin in this episode. She still doesn't want to be with him. She just had a sex dream about him because his blood is in her system. I am not I would never argue that Sookie and Bill's relationship is not toxic. It's 100% toxic, and he is in a power position
so is this
emotionally and physically.
Is this more of a broken clock situation where it's like...
Yes. Tara is
her
right.
conclusion is correct, but her math is wrong?
Exactly, because they also were, like, trying to force Sookie to get a restraining order or press charges against Bill. That is not... You also can't force Sookie to do that if she doesn't want to. And that's also... He would not normally do that. That is not his normal behavior, to drain her to almost death. That was hard, extenuating circumstances. And again, not to say the relationship isn't toxic, but in this instance, he's done nothing worth being arrested for. Because it was completely out of his control, is my thing. And the way that they make Tara take such a hard tack against it, like, if you get back together with Bill, I'm done.
But I
with
guess
you,
I'm
basically.
saying entering into a relationship with another being where that being, where it's possible that being can, I guess it's sort of like having a non-domesticated pet.
Well, sort of, but I mean,
because it's like, because a human, theoretically, a human can't black out and assault you. I mean, I'm sure there's a condition, a medical condition, but knowing that someone is susceptible or prone to that, you would probably advise people to not enter into a relationship.
Sure,
with
like
that
if
person.
I was near death, the chances of me going berserk and killing someone are very slim. But again, it's sort of like I don't know. I don't want to spend like too long talking about this, but like it's specifically
like, we're here, we might as well.
It's specifically the legalities that they're trying to push. The like, you need to get a restraining order.
Well,
and I'm like, that is senseless.
I think we're kind of making, I mean, I am very much devil's advocating, but I think we're kind of making a similar point where it's like the show is asking questions that it has no business or ability to answer.
Yes.
And it's certainly positioning us to ask these questions.
Yeah.
And that's where you get to at a certain point, don't think about it.
It's the way they're characterizing this.
Do you think that that the conversation should have gotten deeper, or because?
Yeah, but someone besides Tara should have been doing it. Like, I would have even taken
Jessica,
Bill self-flagellating harder. I would have even.
I don't want it. I don't want it.
No, but if he had come over and been like, "That was me. I did a bad thing. I'm going to get a restraining order, so I can't come
Bill
near
was
you."
there, he would be siding with Tara. So.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't. It's just the way that it's presented from Tara as a very black and white, very binary, like, decision-making process.
Then let me devil's advocate my own point, my own devil's advocating, when I was like, back to when I said the show is fundamentally broken, because on one hand it seems to be saying that vampires are not the enemy in spite of their behavior. Is that a mirror to humanity?
It can
that
be,
humanity,
I'm sure.
in spite of our worst impulses, in spite of all of our words and actions, we are worth saving. We are worth a second chance.
It could be.
Like, do you think that that's maybe part of it?
Maybe.
I just, the show takes every chance it can to sort of bathe in the gothic, the vampire-ness, that it makes these really bright-eyed, hopeful, give peace a chance moments. And they do work.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it was a big hit for a reason.
Yeah.
I think it touched on something. Even if it only does a medium job exploring it.
I just fundamentally have a problem with how they've written Tara's trauma. I don't think it works. I don't think it's
almost
executed.
Like she's taking her own trauma out on Sookie.
And Bill. Like, 100%. Because, again, Bill's not a great guy. I fully get that, and I fully understand
But that's sort of irrelevant.
And that is sort of irrelevant, especially in this isolated moment, where, like, Tara would like to get Jason to kill Franklin and get a restraining order against Franklin and all that. And I understand that, but it's like Bill has been useful and helpful more than he has almost drained her once. By accident. Outside of his normal control and mind. So, you know, I am not here to be making excuses for abusive men, but I would also not characterize him as an abusive man.
I've a little bit talked myself into being marveled by it.
Yeah.
Once I had that, like, is it also maybe an allusion to humanity? I'm suddenly like, this is brilliant.
So smart.
Because, well, the first part of this episode, we were just talking about how both the Mickens and the Hotshot, how it's like, they are victims of their own reality.
Circumstance, yeah.
And just because we are speaking kind of cruelly or cavalierly about the situations they're in doesn't make those situations not tragic.
Sure.
It's
just I don't necessarily want to see it.
Well, I'm like, where do you get off giving me this in my Sunday night gay vampire show?
Exactly.
And in which regard, I'm the villain. You know, I'm the one being cruel. But I don't know if we actually accomplished anything, but I feel like we did.
Well, I think so. Again, my biggest two gripes about the whole thing are the characterization of Tara, because I just don't think it lands properly, and then them sincerely thinking that any kind of legal document is going to do anything. Like,
you are very hung up on
the legality of this is not going to matter one way or the other.
Yeah, Alcide took Sookie home, but he couldn't stay with her because the werewolves attacked his sister, which leave Janice alone.
They burnt down Janice's salon.
Woman in the tri-state area.
Horrible. So rude.
Bill tried to release Jessica as his maker.
You must collect your things and leave immediately.
Where are we going?
We're not going anywhere. As your maker, I release you.
What if I don't want to be
You can't stay with me.
You don't get to just deadbeat dad this, Phil.
Yeah, right.
It was awful.
So stupid.
We ignored it. She ignored it. It's for the best. She's the best thing that ever happens to his entire character.
And this whole show.
Yeah. We haven't quite gotten there yet.
No, but
yes.
I just love Deborah Wall so much. I love her. I think she's so great.
Like dorky as hell training montage.
Yeah.
That was much better.
Oh. They look like dorks.
I'm getting fast, aren't I?
Yeah, but werewolves are faster.
And I was like, this is...
You were like, they look like nerds.
Well, they just keep... It's so funny because the vampires move so fast.
It's like...
But then... Because it's a special effect.
Yeah.
But then the special effect has to abruptly stop so that the actors can clunk into things.
Yeah.
And it ends up, like, I think it worked in 2009. I don't think it fully works now.
Not amazing.
I think there would be more of a fluidity and maybe a digital flourish.
Sure.
But it did some good because she was able to hold her own against some of the werewolves.
Oh, specifically Don Swayze. R.I.P.
Please don't kill me. I don't want to.
Oh, poor Swayze.
She earned it.
Yeah.
She deserved that.
She did. She was really getting into it, too.
I also call shenanigans on Russell not just ripping her head off. I mean, he can because it's Jessica. But in what reality would Russell Edgington have the upper hand in that scenario and then give her to the werewolf to finish off?
I mean, as a treat.
Again, we need it because it's Jessica.
As a treat.
Yeah.
Like,
Eric is still schmoozing.
Talbot.
Well, Russell and Talbot.
Yeah. I know I'm a poor substitute, but I would be honored to keep you company.
I don't know. That sounds like fun. I am positively jealous.
Fine. Mr. Northman and I will try to find some way to amuse ourselves.
But he sends Hadley to warn Sookie.
Yeah.
She does, and is seemingly dismissed again. I don't know. I'm sorry that I keep coming back to Hadley, but it baffles me how much of
She's
a character,
too
non-character she
interesting.
is. Sookie does tell her that Nan died.
Yeah.
Which, again, Grant,
you're good.
Nan is...
Well,
we still have Nan.
Nana, you know, whatever.
Nan Flanagan, yeah. Gran. Which, anytime that they invoke Gran, that bumps Hadley up an echelon.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm going to let it go.
Yeah.
At least for now. We have Holly. Arlene hires Holly.
That's Tara. She's all bark and, well, she bites too.
But at least she ain't a vampire like our hostess.
Chili's down in Monroe had a vampire busboy.
He's real fast. Seems like you're gonna fit in just great around here.
She ends up, she's not really all necessarily, I mean, she's on the show.
No, but in season 4, there's a lot with the witches.
Okay, yeah. She's just great. We love her. It's
Lauren Bowles.
Lauren Bowles. She's Julia Louis-Dreyfus' half-sister.
Yeah. You can tell.
Yeah. But only once you know.
Yes, yeah.
You would never be like, wait a minute.
I bet you're related to Julia Louis-Dreyfus. So I guess the big Russell Bill fight and then the Talbot Eric thing is all that's left.
You know, Talbot. I was gonna complain. Eric bangs Talbot.
I'm bored. Take off your clothes.
It's been a long time since I've done this. A man? A vampire.
And then he...
I'm not sure he even gets in there before he
In my mind, he did.
They are definitely full nude making out. At
laying
the
on the
very
floor.
least, yeah.
I definitely remember mourning the loss of Talbot. I'm not alone in that.
Yeah.
Russell takes it very hard.
Well, he can feel it from Sookie's house where he has gotten the upper hand on Bill. Also, Debbie's there. She and Sookie kick each other's asses. And then she slashes her across the face, and then Debbie leaves.
Do you want to know how I get these scars?
Yeah, exactly. So Russell's got the upper hand on Bill, and then he feels Talbot die, and so he zips up into the air to get
Well,
back
because
to
I was going to say that, like, we loved Talbot, and I've been waiting for this scene to happen. I remember feeling like it was premature. Now, in hindsight, I think it was pretty mature. And I think one of the reasons why we might love Talbot so much is because he doesn't overstay his welcome, as some characters on this show do. Yeah. I will say,
plus the aftermath
this is not the last we've seen of him. His presence is around.
The aftermath of this is spectacular.
But I don't know. It is a little bit of a bummer. And I loved that leading men partaking in gay sex was... I was going to say...
unusual.
Yeah, I was going to say it was still rare at this day and age, and it is still rare today. Less so, but I do love that line when Eric is, like, nervous or something, and he's like...
I haven't done this in a while.
Haven't done this in a while. And Talbot goes, a man, and Eric goes, a vampire.
Yeah.
And I just...
Incredible.
Love that.
Truly spectacular. There also is, when Talbot's pitching a fit earlier, he, like, breaks a bunch of stuff, and Eric doesn't stop him until he picks that crown back up
and
again.
Eric does a good job playing it off.
And he, like, gets on his knees for Russell and is like, you're the vampire leader I've been waiting for 1,000 years, and really blowing smoke up his ass.
I have searched for you for centuries.
Yeah. Oh, no, wait, what was it? I'm not blowing shit up your ass. No, it was, like, truly, really a good performance, though. And then, yeah, he def stakes him, and I assume he steals the crown. I don't remember if he actually does or not, but he has to.
We'll see, won't we?
GTFO pretty quick, so I think that's mostly it.
Well, and then Bill and Sookie had really aggressive
sex, yeah. All right, man.
Yuck.
Yeah. In that sense, I'm sort of like, where's Tara again? Can we get back? Can we get that back?
See what I mean?
I just don't want them to be together. It's just like, ugh. I don't know.
All right. Yeah. Well, that was definitely a conversation.
Yep.
And then we're gonna watch the next one, and then we'll talk about it.
Bye.
Like and subscribe. Patreon, YouTube, Cash App, Venmo, all of that. We're sponsored by viewers like you.
Made possible by viewers like you.